We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Bennett Williams, Miami Dolphins, UDFA, a DB, another DB out of Oregon, actually. They seem to love those guys down there at Oregon. Love the instincts and versatility that he plays with. He can line up as a single high guy. He can also be a two deep safety look, playing in quarters, cover two. He has the mental processing to play in those areas, versatility to play down in the box. He has a nose for the football, good physical toughness and discipline in those areas too. And then he can also play out in the slot. I like him as a guy that can match up on tight ends with his length and his size. Overall, I would say his biggest weakness is probably his athleticism. I would say overall he's probably an average athlete. Like his short area athleticism's pretty nice, but his long speed, like he tested really bad, like longs in the 40 time. So that's like the main reason he didn't get drafted. Because just watching his film without looking at like the other stuff, I thought he was like a 6th round player on film. Like he's a guy who probably should have got drafted. But then and then I understand like that he didn't make it because of the 40 time, most likely. But he really stepped up for this Oregon defense in 2022. I like his fit in Fangio's defense. He clearly would fit what they like. When it comes to a safety play, processing is the most important. And I think, they're going to ask him to play a lot of, split field safety looks where he doesn't have to rely on his long speed as much. So that would protect him in that area. And then just overall, he's a good open field tackler. Very tough in those areas too. And then down in the box, he clearly has a good feel for what they're trying to do in the running game, and he just makes plays in those areas. So I like the fit. I think he has a chance to, maybe fight for one of those final B spots, but I think most likely you're going to see him as like a practice squad guy, but very good communicator, which is very important in Fangio's defense. And I could see him as another Oregon DB that could make an impact somewhere down the line in the future. This play in particular is probably the play you'll see translate most well to the next level in Fangio's system. Just that this look right here, as a split field safety, he's just lined up over the number 2, and they're in a version of quarters match here. They can do all different types of things in Fangio. See like with palms and 2 read, and he's clearly very comfortable just reading the number 2, reading 2 to 1, and basically as long as 2 doesn't go out right away within like the before 5 yards, you're just going to be matched up on the number 2, the tight end here. And he does a great job maintaining his leverage, quick, active feet. And then once he sees him drive, read the body language of the receiver. And this is Dalton Kincaid too. He was probably the best DB I saw have against Dalton Kincaid the game that he played. He covered him really well, actually. And Kincaid got drafted in the 1st round by the Buffalo Bills. And he's a very good receiving tight end. And I saw him pretty much torch everyone he came up against. But Bennett Williams actually had a really solid game. And here he comes up with the pick, just, matching the leverage, breaking on this, and then he gets the interception. He has solid ball skills as well. You can see it from the all-22 angle that they actually show on the broadcast film, so this is like the only all-22 that you'll see. But he just matches the feet. He sees him start to break to the inside. He has the linebacker slowly reroute him, and he's able to break on this, and like he even has to slow down his step a little bit because he's going to go past the receiver with how quickly he read it. So good mental processing, and this is the type of play that translates perfectly into Fangio's system. For Oregon, Bennett Williams actually played like the Javon Holland role in 2022. Played a lot down in the slot, matching up versus tight end receivers. I think at the next level, if he does, get playing time, you're going to see him probably play some big slot versus tight ends because I think he can do it. That's Kincaid, a 1st-round tight end that he's playing perfectly here. And I just don't think you don't want him matching up versus receivers. He does not have the athleticism to match receivers at the next level. But maybe as like a big slot versus the tight ends, he has a really good job maintaining his outside leverage. He knows Kincaid, Utah, they love to run that slot fade to him. Maintains his outside leverage. Very good job staying disciplined, patient, stays square. And then once he starts to work into his positioning where he wants to be, he gets 2 hands on, gets physical, keeps his eyes back towards the quarterback just in case they throw the slot fade just based on his positioning, and then he opens up his hips so you can see a little bit of fluidity there, get back into position, squeeze to the sideline so he has no chance of making a play on the ball. That's textbook rep there from Bennett Williams. Here we got Williams matched up in the slot again versus Kincaid, but this time just a quick little out route option, and he just limits the yak. I would say Kincaid was the best tight end after the catch in this class. One of the best tight ends after the catch I've seen come out of college. And he usually would dominate in this area. Like, go watch his game versus USC. He literally dominated every DB. But Williams does a great job of just limiting the yak. It's not always about, causing incompletions. Sometimes it's just about limiting the yards after catch. You're not going to be able to stop them every single time. Especially, he gives them that cushion. He's a safety here. And then he does a good job of showing off a little bit of a short area burst. I think his first step is definitely better than his long speed. I think as a safety, you can kind of get away with not being the fastest. Like as a corner on the outside, you want a guy with good speed. definitely easier to take advantage of that. But if you're a safety, as long as you're not playing like single high, like constantly, you can get away with not having the speed, especially if you have good mental processing to make up for it, which I think Bennett Williams does. You can also show like solid underneath zone awareness. That was another area where I saw he's very comfortable playing with, working off the mesh concept. And then once he sees, this quarterback start to break the pocket, he just does a really good job. So we'll watch him here. This running back starts to work to this side. He's reading the QB's eyes. And once he sees that, he knows he can flash his eyes over, and there's probably going to be a receiver coming across as they, mesh this over. So he does a great job of staying disciplined, staying patient. Now he's just leveraging this route. And then once he sees the QB break the pocket and this receiver slip, instead of trying to match this, he just comes down instantly to take away this lane. And then he knows he's probably going to try to throw it right away. So he just gets his hands up, gets the tip there. I think they actually both end up tipping that ball, but just a nice play overall from a mental standpoint. That's probably the best thing that stood out in this film. If he was a better athlete, he would for sure would have got drafted. And I think, drafted pretty high, honestly, if he was a great athlete. But probably an average athlete at best. So that's a big reason why he dropped. But you can be an average athlete at safety and still have a solid NFL career. Second and fourth situation, we got Bennett Williams lined up pretty far off the ball, and they just throw, like the quick bubble screen. And they do pick up the first down, but based on like where he's lined up, like he's not going to be in a position to close on this. But he does a great job, understand, not try to shoot through here, make a great play, because if he does that, it's going to be a touchdown because this guy ends up falling. So he readjusts his angle once he sees this and just does a great job with his pathing. They end up getting called for holding anyways, I believe, right here. But just really good job with his angles in the open field and really eliminating those big plays. And understanding his own athleticism, knows he's not going to, make some crazy play there by closing with outstanding burst, but just doing his job. And he has that size, length, physicality to really make those consistent open field tackles. Williams here, just a nice little hustle play on the ball going to the other side of the field. You got to be able to do this as a safety. Really chase these down, showing off. They get the jet sweep going. He sees this, he's reading the play. He takes one step the other way with the flow, and then instantly goes to the other side of the field. So he reads it pretty well, and then just readjusts his angle, breaks it down, get low, attack the lower half, take out his legs from underneath him. Just an impressive little hustle play. Nothing too crazy, but just nice to see him working, high effort, still with the open field tackling, great angles and all that. These types of interceptions where they're like tip plays are never really impressive to me. I know people get super hyped about them, but I did notice that he did end up like this. There is something to notice about these types of plays, is just being in the right place at the right time, coming down, being aware to get the interception, because this gets tipped pretty quickly. Like, he stays disciplined, stays patient. He sees number 2 sick instantly, so he starts to break on that. He was going to close the space, and then now the ball's tipped up in the air. No one's really noticing it, and then he goes up, attacks it. Just being in the right place at the right time. Something to take notice of, because it did happen on film a few times where he was in the right place at the right time from what I was watching. Just wanted to show at least one of those, because, I think, that shows off at least that he's pretty disciplined and aware of where he's supposed to be. Clearly a very aware underneath zone defender, like right here, just squeezing these routes. Like, this is Kincaid getting him on a little spot route over the middle of the field, but he's clearly very aware, not just to squeeze this instantly, like he has the peripheral vision to see, because he's the curl flat defender. And as a flat defender, he's got to be aware of this running back, working on this swing route. So he just doesn't instantly squeeze this. He gets back, opens up his hips, so he can, if this is thrown, he can close on this and limit the yak, and then, but stay close enough to this, so if this is caught, he can, tackle it instantly. Just a really good job leveraging both the routes that are kind of in his zone. Really good work as an underneath zone defender, squeezing these windows and working the leverage versus multiple concepts, whether it's high-low, just an inside spot to the swing. Really, really impressive stuff there from Bennett Williams. I do like him as a run defender down in the box. Clearly very aware. He doesn't have to, have crazy athleticism to make these plays. He does a good job sort of sneaking, disguising at the line of scrimmage. And if you leave him unblocked, he's going to, take a good path, good angle to the running back to help, make tackle for losses or limit those gains. I do like his fit down there in the box. He's clearly very comfortable. He has the size, the length for it. He takes on block with physicality, and then when he left unblocked, he has the good awareness to, get into the backfield, knife through those gaps, make those plays. Another example of his open field tackling, aligned, as a split field safety pre-snap over here. He's just reading 2 to 1. He sees 2 to go out to block, and then seeing 1 work back, on these sort of, screens right here, these breakaways. everyone working, and then he has to go through all this trash, take a great angle, predict where he's going to go. He breaks down, stays square, and then, takes out the legs from underneath him, goes through the running back too. Even though he can tackle a little low at times, he does finish through them, doesn't, just ankle bite completely. This is just a really impressive play, working through all that trash, seeing everything that's happening, and then still finishing, limiting this gain from his pre-snap alignment for only like, a 4-yard gain is really, really nice. Got Bennett Williams right here. Really good job taking on this receiver instantly. You can see the power that he has. He has that size and that length. They're working read option. They're having the receiver block him. He takes him on to the point of attack. He gets square. You can see the ability to extend the power in that lower half. He gets the torque. Now he just creates that space with the power that he has, reading this the whole way, and then chases this all the way to the sideline with a little bit of help there from, I believe that's Gonzalez actually, who's a very good player. But even if he wasn't there, Williams would have made that, probably be a negative loss as well. Only really would have got back to the line in best case scenario, but he just plays that perfectly. He's a very disciplined, sound run defender. I love this play from Bennett Williams. He's such a good underneath zone defender. I think he can be like a strong safety type that works down in the box, because you can sort of hide that, long speed there. He has the ability to play versus the run, but this is just a nice play that, they got the jet sweep going on. He ends up becoming down into the flat, but he isn't just, he's a curl flat defender, but he's able to get back, gain depth, takes away, you'll see this guy right here, this receiver on the outside, he gets back, take away that depth to help take away this throwing lane to the dig route. And then you can see he's even communicating that this receiver's going this way. He's trying to pass this off, communicating to this guy, even though he's not even looking at him, but he knows where those routes is. And now he's just reading the QB's eyes, sees him start to, open his shoulder. His eyes are going to the flat here. And now he knows that he can close on this instantly. So really good job leveraging route concepts again, and then taking a great angle, limiting this to, a few yards. Really, really good stuff. That's one of my favorite plays I saw on film. Everything was really, really nice about that. Read it perfectly. Williams, he is a hitter. He loves to come down versus, the quick screen game, the RPO game. He gets down. He takes the great angles. Just beautifully done here. Like, working off of this, like, he could overcommit to the outside, thinking the receiver might work off to the outside off the block or the inside. He just plays it perfectly. He stays patient. He stays square. He doesn't just instantly fly down, because if he flies down quickly, the receiver is just going to go to the opposite side of the block, because this guy's pretty square up, so he could have gone pretty much anyway, but then he just, boom, blows him up. That's a big body guy. I think he might even be a tight end, but really takes him out of the point of attack. Really, really good stuff there from Bennett. The other reason I like Bennett Williams is because he is a communicator pre and post snap. I showed us some post snap. Here he is communicating pre snap off the motion. He's clearly a leader of that defense. You got to be smart to make an impact to the next level, especially in a Fangio defense. If you're a safety, being a mental processor, understanding what's going on is the most important thing. I think that's why he has a chance to make the team, because of those specific things. And, Oregon DBs, Verone, McKinley, as at UDFA, made it last year. I think Bennett Williams is a slightly different player. Verone being more of a, deep single high guy. But here, communicating pre-snap, and then just being aware of the screen. He's reading this the whole time, closes on this, just completely takes away number 2. Once he sees that it is a screen, he gets it for sure. He just closes instantly, takes that away. So then the quarterback is basically forced to throw it away. Really, really, really good stuff. Last play, let me break down for Bennett Williams. Down in the box, just him being a disciplined run defender. Beat the receiver that's trying to, crack back block him, get underneath him so he can only, attack the back. Make sure his hands get to your back, and then fill in to that gap. Take on the running back at the point of attack. Really nice stuff here. He's just a disciplined, solid run defender, physical. We've seen him tackle. He's definitely a tackler. I think just the biggest weakness that I saw to his game was the athleticism, but it's not even like that big. It's just the speed, the long speed. His change of direction is probably slightly below average as well with his hips and stuff. But I would say his burst, lateral agility, foot quickness was all around average, which I think you can make work at the next level as a safety. People, I think, overrate just pure 40 speed, especially when it comes to play speed, because play speed is usually a combination of your athleticism and your speed, obviously, but play speed also comes down to your mental processing and instincts, like how quickly you read plays, because that's a part of your play speed right there. And I think Bennett Williams really makes up for his lack of speed with the instincts. And I just think, he can be a contributor. I think that he has a chance for sure. Out of all the, I'm only really breaking down the UDFAs that I think have a chance of making the team. Obviously, not all are going to. That's just not how it works. I think a lot of them could make practice squad. But just the guys that I like, and Bennett Williams is definitely one of those guys that I think is a very just has a good chance, and it is a crowded DB room, but he's a guy that I think can play pretty much anywhere besides outside corner in the secondary, and I think, the Fangio will value that, and I think he likes these types of safeties. He also brings some size to his physicality, which I think, they don't have the biggest safety room, but everyone's pretty solid size. But Bennett is another guy that can really bring the hits back there, like Deshaun Elliott, Holland, Brandon Jones. They all like to get physical, and I think, he fits in pretty nicely with them. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.